All boils down to this, folks, over in League One as we enter the playoffs second leg. That's right, after a very, very tasty first legs with two teams edging closer to meeting up in Wembley for that one remaining spot in next season's championship. Who's going to go the distance and make it to Wembley? Well, we'll tell you next. That's right, folks, back once again on a prediction video. Today we're taking a look at the League One playoffs. That's right, it's the second legs with advantage Bolton, advantage Oxford, of course. But, of course, it is only half-time in, of course, a very, very spicy playoffs, of course, with four, you would say, creative, attacking, tasty-looking sides trying, of course, get back into the promised land, which is the best league in the world. It is the championship, and we'll get to it in a second, of course. Big shout out once again to the VIPs. They are the patrons, you know who you are. And again, if you're new, smash it. The old subscribe, check out the links down below, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, and all that kind of jazz. But let's, of course, turn the clock back to, of course, their first legs. And, of course, the second legs are just around the corner here, guys. So we've got to be quick off the mark if we are, of course, going to get your predictions in. So let's turn those clocks back then to the 3rd and the 4th of May. May the 4th be with you with a recap of those matches. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot. Can I be down here? Can I hide down here? So let's take a look at the goals then. Of course, goal scoring antics for Bolton. 3-1 win it was for them. Dion Charles with a couple of goals. Randall Williams with the cherry on top to give advantage Bolton at Oakwell. Monster win there. Of course, Sam Cosgrove, the only goal scorer for Barnsley on the night. Advantage, of course, Bolton. They'll be at home in the second leg after a very, very productive and, of course, menacing first leg indeed. Meanwhile, in the other game, it was Oxford. It was Peterborough at the Kazam. I went with a 2-2 draw. And it actually was just the 1-0 with Elliot Moore scoring the one and only goal for Oxford. Advantage them. But they have to go to a tricky Peterborough now to see if they can get over the line and meet what looks like to be Bolton at Wembley. Will that be a force my pick? Well, we're going to take a deep dive into those second legs in just a second, folks. Don't forget the prediction league is still on. I'm not revealing any details until the next video, which will be the playoff final, where we'll probably more than likely announce the winner with 1 point left to unless there is, of course, a bit of some sort of shenanigans where there is a point between the two sides. So we'll see, of course, who comes out on top on that one then. So, of course, let's take a look at those second legs, of course, as these sets of teams swap venues, of course. So let's hop over to the second legs, and, of course, we're going to take a look at the first one, which is Bolton against Barnsley, boys and girls. Now, these next matches do take place over the next couple of days, the 7th and 8th of May. Bolton, of course, Barnsley first, so we'll know which one of these two sides will go to Wembley at the end of play tomorrow. So here we go then. Now, these two sides, again, the stats are pretty similar to those before, but we're going to give you a bit of a refresh, of course, and maybe recap some previous encounters between the two sides, but this time with the focus being at Bolton, of course. Played each other 29 times, 10 wins for Bolton, 5 wins for Barnsley, 14 draws, of course, and Bolton's stats pretty much remain the same. The highest win was a 3-0 win, scoring 49 goals in those 29 matches, 1.69 goals a game on average. Barnsley, 3-0 win, the biggest, scoring 41 goals in 29 matches, 1.41 goals a game. Of course, the underlining factor here, which, of course, is not doing Barnsley any favour, is the fact they've still yet to hire a manager. Now, if they are to somehow turn this tie around and get Barnsley into the playoff final with Martin Devaney as, of course, caretaker, that would be an absolute miracle, to be honest with you. It does not look good. They had a guy lined up. It looks like that's gone to shit, and now they're, of course, back scrambling again, disrupting any hopes of Barnsley realistically making the playoff final. So, you can give the players a little bit of flack, of course, but really it is the hierarchy who goofed up this one, and there seems to be up and down the divisions here. There is some owners that are not fit to run football clubs who are making goofs just like this. Blackburn Rovers are a prime example of that, where our hierarchy completely make us look absolutely stupid. Barnsley doing just the same. Of course, Barnsley now 17% form for them, are now winless in the last 7 matches, and they are in the playoffs, guys. They are not realistically. I think if the season was 1 or 2 games longer, guess what? Barnsley Barnsley would not be in there, and they won't be there on merit. They are 6th in the table. They finished 6th, 76 points. Meanwhile, Bolton, 75% form for them right now, unbeaten in the last 8 matches, and they are 3rd, 87 points for them. So realistically, on form, on merit, they should be in the playoff final. The last time that these two sides did play each other over at Bolton. Now, this is a bit of some juicy nuggets here, of course. It was a draw. It was a 1-1 draw. Of course, a draw would benefit Bolton in this situation because of the 2-goal cushion they have in the first leg. But the last 2 times that these two sides, and that was this season back in February 2024, they have played each other in back-to-back games at Bolton, and both of those ended up as draws. And the last time a team between these two sides played at Bolton and won, it was Barnsley. It was back in the FA Cup, back in November 2022, of course, and the first one in the FA Cup. So Bolton's last victory over Barnsley at Bolton was back in the Championship back in December 2017. So it's been a long time since Bolton picked up the victory there. So that's a little bit of hope there for Barnsley, but it's pretty much all you're going to get from me here. 6-4 on is your Bolton Red Hot favourites for this win in this match alone. 3-1, of course, is the draw. 7-2 is your away win. And again, the futures for this one, Bolton are 11-8 to be promoted at the end of this. Of course, Barnsley are 33-1. The writing is on the wall here, folks. And I can't see anything but a 2-0 win. It could be even more. It could be a cricket score, to be honest with you. And we're getting closer to that with the aggregate score of a 5-1 victory for Bolton. That's right. I'm going with it. I think you could probably put your money on it. So let's get over to the more juicier one. It is Peterborough. It is at Oxford. And, of course, it's coming at you at Peterborough. Now, these two sides, of course, more tightly packed. It's definitely a better game as a spectacle because, realistically, Barnsley are a bit of a shit show. Bolton are just, a well-oiled machine. This, you could say, is pretty much the same. Oxford playing really good football. Peterborough a little bit wobbly, but they were also, you could never write off Peterborough, especially when it gets to this stage. Of course, so Darren Ferguson in the dugout against Des Buckingham, a manager I've questioned this season for Oxford. There was some ropey starts, but I think right here, right now, they are starting to see the best out of him, and he might just be the guy that does it for Oxford. But anyway, let's break down the numbers. They've played each other 21 times now since 1993. 8 wins for Peterborough, 9 wins now for Oxford, 4 draws, of course. Peterborough's biggest win, 4-0 win. Scoring 25 goals in 21 matches, 1.19 goals a game. Oxford, of course, 5-0 win. Was their biggest, scoring 25 goals in 21 matches, 1.19 goals a game. Now, Oxford on 75% form for them right now. Back-to-back wins, just 1 defeat in the last 6. They are 5th, 77 points for the season against their Peterborough side. 42% form for them right now. Winless in 3. Again, form is crucial. Momentum is not with Peterborough at the moment, of course. They did finish 4th. Oxford finished 5th. Of course, it is at Peterborough, of course, and this match will take place on Wednesday, the 8th be with you. So the last time they played each other at Peterborough, though, get this, it was a 3-0 victory for Peterborough. That was back in December 2023. That was this season. Last season, it was a 0-0 draw, and if that was to be the case, of course, Oxford would go through 1-0 on aggregate. So it's been back-to-back wins for Oxford over Peterborough. In fact, the away side hasn't won this game since Peterborough beat Oxford back in October 2022. It's been 4 games against the away side, but again, a draw is good for Oxford heading into this one. It's been another clean sheet for Oxford on this one. Last time around, of course, the odds for this game, 6-5 is your Peterborough, 11-5 is your Oxford. As you can see, the bookies now favouring Peterborough. How much of a victory would that be? 12-5, of course, is the draw. Should we take a look at that a little bit more detail? Can we? Of course, the odds for a victory, perhaps. Where are we? What are we looking at? Scoreline, correct score. So if we go for a Peterborough 2-0 victory over Oxford, it'd be a 12-1 sort of odds on that one. Of course, a look at the futures on this one. We got Oxford are 5-2, second favourites, of course, to get promoted to the Championship, with Peterborough at 4-1 currently, third favourites, of course. Now, like I said, Oxford have been playing really good football, and realistically, on the situation at the table, I don't think they should be in this. I think it was very lucky that they managed to get over the line to be in the playoffs, and I think you cannot ever rule out Peterborough, especially when it gets to this stage. So I am going to back a Peterborough big victory here, 3-0 win at their place to secure a 3-1 aggregate win, which of course will set up a Bolton-Peterborough clash. Once again, they did just feature in the last game of the regular season contend for a spot, of course, in next season's championship. And what a game that will be, guys. We'll be back, of course, for that whenever it comes around, of course, and we'll look forward to it. But will I be right? Will I be wrong? Of course, don't forget the prediction. It is still open. You can still get your predictions in. And, of course, we are now wrapping it up very, very much over the next few days. So let's get in now. And, of course, we'll look forward to doing it again next season. But until then, subscribe, smash your like. I'll see you soon for the next one.